Hey everyone, it's Mark here from Prime Wrestling, and this is.
Dreamy. Kept it simple.
And it's been 5 days since WrestleMania, and we finally sat down to talk about it. We've not even conversed if we liked it or not, so
We
this
have
is
not.
this is going to be a bit interesting. I think what we're going to do is just quickly go through the match card and talk about the matches quickly, and then our general overall thoughts of WrestleMania 33, the ultimate thrill ride.
Right. I say you say quickly, but
Yeah,
it's not going to be quickly.
no. Um,
Sorry, I'm going to cough.
So let's get straight into it. First up, we had the Cruiserweight Championship, Neville versus Austin Aries. What do you think to kind of start off proceedings, Jamie?
I thought it was it was a fun match. A little bit sad that it wasn't the main show.
Yeah,
I felt like it should have been.
I don't know if you saw it, but I put on Instagram the other day that I just think Neville he's just a superstar, isn't he? He's like,
Yeah, he's so great.
as a champion, it's just brilliant. I love it. But yeah, as a match, like I enjoyed it definitely, but it didn't lack any atmosphere. I think because it was on so early.
Yeah, it was literally the first match on where people are still funneling in. And as we said, just like in our predictions, this had one of the best stories going into WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And we were really hyped for it. And I think it did deliver. I say for it being on the pre-show, I enjoyed it. Sadly, I missed like the last sort of third of the match. I managed to catch the ending, but my stream dropped out, so I missed a little bits of this. But overall, I thought it was a fun, enjoyable match. I think it was right that Neville won.
Yeah, I'm glad he won. I am glad he won. It would have been too easy just to put it on Austin Aries, wouldn't it? Like the popular vote, but no, I hope they continue a program now.
Do you know what? I would like to see them go. It's really long, but take this all the way to SummerSlam and have like a full 3 or 4 month program, and have Aries win at SummerSlam on the main show.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a really great like sort of vindication for the whole cruiserweight division if they do that.
Yeah. Although saying that, I may be wrong. I think they announced, possibly it was on 205, that they had a number one contendership match. I may be wrong because I've not sat down and watched 205 yet, but that might, which makes me, if they have done that, what leads to Austin Aries if they're going to go with someone else. But I guess that'll kind of unfold. And then next up was the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. And this for me was the first kind of match where I actually sat up and thought, hang on a second.
Yeah.
I thought this WrestleMania could be pretty good if they're doing this so early on. And with I didn't think Big Show would win it, so I was expecting him to go out. But Strowman going out, that was massive surprise. Like because he was hanging onto the ropes and that. I thought, oh, they're doing the classic, and then he just went, and I was like, shit.
I was the same. I was like, oh my god, because like looking, we said Luke Harper in our predictions. I forgot Luke Harper was in it. There's that many people. He wasn't made a fuss of. And like, it was kind of like Sami Zayn, Big Show, and Strowman got the intros. Everyone else just sort of walked down the ramp. So it was like, well, surely it's going to be one of those three then. And they all went pretty early.
I thought after Strowman and Big Show gone, I thought Sami Zayn, he's dead cert for it. Like the way they've been building him up and that.
But then again, he went pretty quickly after them. A couple of minutes later, Harper went. I think Harper lasted quite long, but just to kind of sum up, I thought Killian Dane, I thought Big Damo, him getting quite far. For a second, I thought they were going to give it to him, like as the big monster, and almost like, I'm the new monster on the block, kids. But Mojo bloody Rawley. I mean, it's mental. I have no idea where they're going with this.
It's really bizarre as well. Like I'm cross promotioning here, but. Was it Pacitti with WCPW? He said Mojo Rawley, out of everyone. I just thought that was brilliant.
If he don't get hype, he stay hype. Obviously, it was all built around Rob Gronkowski. That's why he won it. Was so they could get the WrestleMania moment. So, you know what? If they're gonna build a star out of Mojo, SmackDown is the land of opportunity after all. I just don't. I think now they have to separate him and Zack Ryder when Zack Ryder comes back. I'm hoping. I know we weren't going to talk about this, but in the Superstar Shake-Up, I think Ryder goes back to Raw.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
I know he's injured, but hopefully they do that, or they split them up now, so you can go and build Mojo Rawley as a single star. They do something with it. Hopefully, they just haven't wasted a chance to build a really great superstar for the fact that they wanted to get Rob Gronkowski to kill Ginger Mahal.
I guess only time will tell with that, really, won't it? But then I
Yeah.
suppose, in the same context, Sami Zayn, Strowman, potentially Luke Harper as well, they don't necessarily need that accolade to get pushed. So so then after that kind of surprising twist, we went on to the Intercontinental Championship with Dean Ambrose and Baron Corbin.
Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me.
Do you have strong feelings about this
I
one?
don't want to talk about it. Don't want to talk about it.
Because you wanted that Baron, didn't you?
I needed Baron. I needed him. Oh man, it's just so boring. Dean bloody Ambrose. It was an okay match. But like they should have given it to Baron. They should have really given it to Baron. And then more annoyingly, sorry I don't want to bring this up, but on SmackDown they had the street fight that wasn't for the title. What the shit was that? And I didn't realise that, so I was watching it, and when Baron won, I started celebrating, and then I realised, oh shit, it's a non-title match, a street fight non-title match.
You were swerved.
I was swerved. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I just think it was really, really poor booking that they didn't give Baron a title. Lost a bit of momentum for me, lost a bit of that aura that he had. Really, really poor booking. And you, Dean Ambrose.
Amazing.
Lunatic cringe. So I don't know what you thought about it.
I just didn't have any feelings either way to this match. I don't think it was on the pre-show. Didn't particularly have interest in either of them massively, and then they just kept the title on Ambrose. So it was just a bit of a. I think it was my pre-show toilet break, to be honest. To be honest,
I think both men deserve to be on the main show.
Yeah.
But the match in the end, it was kind of justified that I'd stayed on the pre-show. Just Dean Ambrose just needs to lose it sooner rather than
change, don't he? As well.
Yeah, he needs. I think he needs to get taken out by Baron Corbin and go away for a while and rethink his life.
Yeah, definitely. So then after obviously the pre-show matches, we went into AJ Styles versus Shane McMahon. And again, this was a little surprise for me to have it first on. What do you think about it, Jamie?
I thought it was actually a really great match. It felt odd not having a ladder match start WrestleMania, but obviously for obvious reasons we know why that wasn't. But I thought it was a really fun opener. It was. I've heard other people say this, but this is not my original thoughts. But obviously they put it on first, so there was no real disappointment that Shane didn't jump off anything.
Yeah.
I think it was a really well done match because Shane was getting booed, but he put in a decent enough performance where both men came out of it looking strong because AJ got the win and Shane did a shooting star press, which is awesome. I've not got much to say about this. Really, really enjoyable match. Great kickoff. Great way to kick off WrestleMania. Really, really fun, and I really hope AJ Styles stays on SmackDown.
I do too because I got tickets in May.
Yeah,
I got SmackDown because I wanted to see AJ Styles and that.
I've got tickets for Raw now, and I'm really worried. Like the people I bought tickets for Raw for aren't going to be there. But if I get Styles on Raw, then I'll be okay with that. I can.
Yeah.
That'll cushion the blow a little bit.
But for me, the match, I think you put it perfectly. It was a solid match. I was quite invested in it because I didn't know who was going to win. The way they played it out. And then obviously Shane got his little coast to coast in, and AJ as well, which is. But there's a little bit in it that kind of made me cringe and laugh at the same time. When the ref got knocked out, he was basically laying on the apron, and then they needed to do the coast to coast. So he just kind of rolled out of the way. He was supposed to be like knocked out, and he kept looking up to see if it was going to happen or not.
I was going to say, like he started to come round at that point as well when they were like throwing it into each other. But he's like, oh, it's okay, out of my head. But
Yeah. It's completely digressing, but it always makes me laugh with WWE. Like, I know it's made up and I know it's and you have to kind of suspend belief, but it always makes me laugh when they have this stipulation within a match that if you do things like bring weapons in and that, you get disqualified. But then if the ref gets knocked out and then all these weapons come into the match, like bins and stuff, and then the ref comes around, he doesn't get up and think, hang on, there's been some bins used here. This must be a disqualification. No, they just carry on with the match and have a pin.
He's like, well, I don't know who used them, so I'm just going to pretend it never happened.
Yeah. Although Shane uses them every time he's in a match.
Yeah.
And then we had another, I think, little surprise for me was Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho following that up. Yeah. Another kind of early match that I thought was going to be built on later. For me, yeah, I kind of liked it, although I did feel it felt like their feud had petered a little bit. We had the Festival of Friendship and all that after Fastlane, and then I felt in the last couple of weeks it's just gone down, only ever so slightly. But I did like, obviously everyone's talking about it with Kevin Owens with the finger on the rope and stuff like that. It was quite cool, and I was happy with the outcome. So again, over for me, it was another solid kind of match to start WrestleMania and keep me interested, I think. What did you think, Jamie?
Yeah, I agree. I would have liked it to be a bit more brutal than it was. I would have liked to have seen maybe weapons in this one.
I guess that's what I mean. It felt like the animosity had died a bit between the two of them.
It felt more like a wrestling match where it should have been more of a brawl than a technical wrestling match as it ended to be. But I say some really great spots, especially the finger of doom, whatever we're calling it. The power bomb on the apron, again, it protects that move. It makes Kevin Owens look like a bastard.
But it finished really quickly after that, didn't it? He done the power bomb on the apron, and then rolled him in.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen him do that and then do one in the ring as well as like an exclamation point. Just that was like the ending kind of felt a bit rushed. But other than that, I say it was a really great, solid match. So enjoyed it. Cool.
And then we went on to the Raw Women's Championship, and at this point was the point that I started wondering why they're leaving the ladder match till so late. And I was getting a little peaky with it, but yeah, we went into the Raw Women's match, and I think we've spoken about this kind of in the predictions. That it just feels like, for me, it feels as though it's just been done the wrong way round. Like Bayley should have been winning the title at WrestleMania, and Charlotte should have been losing her streak at WrestleMania, and couldn't care less about the other people involved. But and they blatantly copied the Nia Jax elimination. They blatantly copied from NXT the night before with Authors of Pain and that.
I want to start a hashtag right now. Hashtag Justice for Nia. Justice for Jax. I felt really bad for her. Like, my friend pissed this up. My friend picked this up. Every other woman got a really big entrance and loads of pyro, and then Nia Jax just walked in and then got eliminated like 2 minutes into the match. Why put her in there if you're not going to utilise it? I know she had that kind of like really cool spot where she did like the cannonball thing she cannonballed Charlotte into Sasha and Bayley, but other than that, she got like no other real offense in. I just felt really bad for her. And it kind of, I know they built it up so like it took all three women to eliminate her, but she didn't even get hit with like any of their finishes. It was just sort of a power bomb off the top rope. I mean, this match was okay. I think for me, it was one of the weakest on the card, just purely for the fact that there was no real emotional investment in it for me. It was just kind of how everyone expected it to go. Whereas, as you said, if it had gone the way where Bayley won and it was her crowning moment, or even Charlotte winning the title back would have been better than just keeping it on Bayley. I think they've hot potatoed it so much that one more at Mania wouldn't have hurt the title, It needed a little bit more for me. But it was a fine, serviceable, okay match,
Yeah.
with some
I've
great wrestling in it.
I've really grown to like Sasha Banks as well over
She's
the past few months.
over the past few months.
Yeah. I'd never. I don't know. Because I'm a big Charlotte mark. I love Charlotte.
Had a dream, I could have made it. I'm full on. Sorry, I'm full on Sasha.
Oh
Like
yeah, excellent.
Sasha fangirl.
See, I'm the same with Charlotte. Like,
Uh,
I think she's great. But yeah, Sasha's really grown on me over the last couple of months, and in general, I quite like all the women within the Raw side of things. The only one probably I don't take to is Bailey. Funny enough,
I feel the same.
I just yeah,
I just um, I'm really glad she won it with the Macho Man elbow,
yeah.
because
I
that
did
feels
like that. I will say that.
because that feels more of a finisher than the Bailey
Yeah,
belt, because I think that is one of the worst finishes in WWE history.
I
The fact
think
that
I think I think
Big
in
E just does it like Big
yeah,
E just does it like, and it's supposed to be like
a routine
Bailey's
move.
finisher. Yeah,
Yeah,
it just doesn't work for me. It just takes away the excitement from our matches, because, as you say, with Charlotte, if she is not selection, you're in trouble.
yeah,
Obviously, Nia Jax just can kill you. Same with Sasha Banks. The bank statement, they're really powerful moves, and then you've just got
yeah,
Bailey who can. Oh, I can do a front belly to belly suplex.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's bizarre. It is bizarre.
So I think she should. Sorry, just before you start, I think she should adopt the elbow as her finishing move from now
Yeah,
on.
definitely. No one else is really doing it off the top turnbuckle, are they? I don't think.
No.
Dropping away. And then obviously we went on to the big talking point of the evening, the Fatal 4-Way ladder match. Now, as I said just a minute ago, I kind of thought something was brewing, because they kept putting off the match. Like, all these other matches were coming before it. And but then, for me, the New Day came out, and I thought, we're all being trolled here, aren't we? You know, they're going to put themselves into it.
Yeah.
Even to the point they started walking down the ramp, didn't they? And I think that was just played out perfectly. Like, when the Hardy Boys music hit, I was slightly disappointed that it looked as though they come back as like the Hardy Boys, and dropped the broken gimmick. But then there was a nice few bits with the delete chants and stuff and whatnot. And for me, I screamed like a little girl. I think I spoke to you about that before.
Yeah.
I just thought I thought it was brilliant, and I've actually watched that segment back like probably 3 or 4 times since then, and it's just great. I love it. It's probably one of my favourite WrestleMania moments, probably just because of the kind of relationship I had with the Hardy Boys 10 years ago, essentially. But as the match as a whole, I think it worked, and it was quite frenetic and that, and I loved actually more than Jeff's Swanton Bomb off the big ladder, which is standard for him. I really liked Matt Hardy's Twist of Fate off the top of the ladder. I thought that was great. Like, it looked so good as well. And I didn't mind the Hardy Boys winning. I thought, it's obviously elevated the tag team titles and that division now. But yeah, what did you think?
Totally agree. From the moment the New Day came out, I just progressively. I've got to tell you how I had my hands on my head, and I just kept saying "F off." Like, I just like, it was either F off or F all the way off. That's all I kept saying. And like, I was just sat there like, it's not going to happen. Like, the New Day going to put themselves. I felt the same. And then when the and I think taking away the Daniel Bryan WrestleMania 30 moment, because I don't want to say like people saw that coming, but as a surprise, I think it was. It's really hard to put into words, like how everybody accepted it and everybody was genuinely happy to see them. Like, there wasn't there was no. I don't know. It's just crazy. Like, it's.
It worked. It was played perfectly.
Yeah, I can't put it into words how I really want to try and make a really smart and educated point here, but I can't. It just worked perfectly. Just to see the crowd behind them and accepting them, whether they were going to be broken or not, I think it was brilliant.
I quite actually like, just as a quick point, you know, they've obviously come back as the Hardy Boys, and Jeff was in his old ring gear and he's giving it all that and everything.
Yeah.
And then there's obviously the broken gimmick that was in TNA or Impact Wrestling or whatever. Well, I quite like that there's this like kind of shiftiness with it at the moment. Like they're the Hardy Boys, but then every now and again Matt will just go delete,
Yeah.
and I think it works really well because it's keeping that guessing: are they going to be the Broken Hardys or whatever?
And this is what I wanted to just quickly point. I'll say this and then I'll move on to how I thought about the match. But they've not spoke yet, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah.
They've not had a chance to cut a promo, so you still don't know if they're the Hardys, and I think they should keep that rolling until
100%.
Like they should just keep having them come out, getting these huge pops, and then in like a month or so have them cut a promo, and we know then. But it's just really great to have them back. It was a really genuine. It was just a really genuine, great moment.
I have heard a rumor that they're going to split them up, possibly at the Superstar Shake-Up or further down the line, and keep Jeff as a Hardy Boy and that kind of style, and then have Matt as Broken Matt. Which I think quite well. They're fair enough both on their own. They work fine on their own. So.
Yeah, I think say one going to Raw, one going to SmackDown. I think I'd rather see Matt on SmackDown than Jeff.
Yeah.
Just because, can you imagine Broken Matt Hardy versus Shinsuke Nakamura?
Yeah.
Great stuff. Just really great. I thought the match was there's some really nice fun. I think everyone. It was inevitable that the Hardys were going to win from the moment they walked out, but everybody looked strong, and even the club looked strong with the fact that they lost the title so quickly, but they lost them to the Hardys. So
definitely.
I hate using the term because it's a marketing tool, but it was just a really great WrestleMania moment. That whole sort of 15-minute sequence.
I think so, definitely. I'm just going to make a really quick side point because I don't know if we have time to talk about this, and it kind of goes away from WrestleMania, but I just want to make a point is SmackDown on Tuesday, Nakamura's entrance, that was another massive thing for me. I thought that was amazing what they done with that. I just wanted to get that in there because I thought it was talking about kind of like moments and stuff. I thought that was amazing. But then we obviously moved on to John Cena and Nikki Bella versus Miz and Maurice, and I've not hid the fact that I've been quite invested in this feud, and I was quite excited for this match. But I was so let down.
Same.
Like, nothing happened. It was basically John and Nikki having massive offence over Miz and Maurice. Maurice didn't even wrestle. She got basically attitude adjustment from Nikki, and then submission move, and that was it. Like, it felt for me that it really buried after Miz and Maurice Miz especially have carried this whole feud, and then they just literally got buried in 5 minutes. It felt like.
It was. It was poor.
And for me, I thought like after the Hardy Boys and the crowd were really up and that, and then went into this, and I was really looking forward to it. I thought, right, it's really kicking in now. We're going to progress to like the main events and stuff. But it just took me the complete other way, and I was massively deflated by it, to be honest. I don't know what you thought.
Yeah, no, exactly the same. I think that showed in the stadium as well, because obviously after the match, the proposal, fans
that was
were
cringy.
booed. It was so. But again, like we said, if they'd have lost, because I think everybody knew the proposal was coming. If they'd lost, people would have got behind it more, and I think they lost the crowd by having Cena win so quickly. I just feel really bad for the Miz because he's been great, and I say he's just lost all his momentum now, surely. And as I say, John Cena and Nikki Bella are going away, and the Miz now kind of has to try and rebuild himself, which is sad because he should have had the win over Cena at Mania, and then they could have had a really cringy, nice WrestleMania moment with the proposal. But it's silly booking. Sorry.
I just thought as well, like I think you said it earlier about one of the matches, Kevin Owens, I think, and Chris Jericho. I just thought it'd be a bit more brutal than it was. Like, you know, like Miz has been absolutely defacing Cena for the last couple of weeks, and Nikki and Maurice have had this thing. I don't know how PG it is, but I thought it would be quite cool. Like, something happens, whatever, and Miz slaps Nikki or something, or pushes
Yeah.
her over or whatever, and then it's like a catalyst and
Yeah.
scrap and stuff, and it just didn't happen. It was literally
No.
we'll do a bit of few moves and then we'll just do the double attitude adjustment, and it really disappointed me. And the proposal was just, it dragged, and I was like, can we get this over and move on now? And someone said online, and it actually made me really laugh, because he, in his like little speech, he was saying about how that, you know, she was about to go under to have her surgery and stuff, and apparently that's when he asked, you know, to marry her or whatever. And it's kind of like someone said, you know, that's really promoting that you're like forcing someone to do something when they're under basically anaesthesia. It's just kind of like hitting on women when they're unresponsive and stuff. But
It's Triple H and Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah, exactly.
Gimmick infringement by John Cena.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess like we're both in agreement on that. Though it was just, I think, anyway, it was going to be hard to top what had just happened with the Hardy Boys. But they could have done more than they did, really. And it went exactly how I thought it was in the predictions, that Cena would just pick up the win and whatnot. So then we went into Seth Rollins and Triple H, and Triple H's bizarre entrance, I think, is the best way for me to describe it. It was just, just
tiny tag
revving his engine
on his tiny tag strike.
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna Google this pretty quick. Yeah, tiny tag strike. That's what they call it.
Yeah.
And then Stephanie just on the back for no reason.
Yeah.
Run.
She was basically just eye candy for it, wasn't she? Like, tight leather pants and that. I can take that.
Yeah.
But the match in general, what did you think about the
match? Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I thought there was going to be some more shenanigans. I thought it was really great, Stephanie getting some comeuppance and going through the table.
Yeah, good spot. I liked that.
Yeah. I really, really loved the mini sequence of them both trying to pedigree each other. I thought that was great. Really happy Rollins won. And yeah, it was just it was a fun match. That as we were saying earlier on about Chris Jericho, how that felt like it had lost some momentum a little bit. This kind of went the other way. It lost a lot of momentum where Rollins got injured for those 2 weeks, and then they built it back up. And I think this match delivered in the right way, because it was obviously an unsanctioned match, and you could add a bit of brutality to it. I think that really worked. Yeah, and it was a really fun, enjoyable match, and probably my favourite match on the card, I think.
Okay. I don't think it didn't drag too much. I think that's the thing I found. It was the right length. And what was I going to say? I'm trying to think. What was I going to say? Yeah, I just thought it worked well, and I'm glad Seth Rollins won. And I liked a little sledgehammer bit as well, where he kind of saw it out of the corner of his eye and picked it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
Seth had placed it in front of him, like, here you go.
I think the only kind of down point for me from it is the fact that it was advertised as this non-sanctioned match, which it was basically no DQ, wasn't it? But when you promote something as non-sanctioned, I know, again, I think we discussed about this, is like, I was thinking it was going to be backstage all over the stadium, but they had a ref and everything, and I think we even discussed how is this going to end, and it ended with a pin, right? It ended with
it was Rollins after he hit him with a pedigree.
Yeah, so it was a bit bizarre. And then we went into Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt, which we both thought was going to main event, didn't we?
We did.
Do you want me to go, or do you want to go?
Yeah, because I'm just really sad. Go on, you can go.
I think your sigh that you just did kind of sums it up for me as well. A lot's been said about the projections on the screen, on the canvas. Sorry, I enjoyed the first one. I thought it was like one of those moments where you think, what the hell's going on here? Like, but then it lingered a bit too long, and I was just
Yeah.
like, okay. And then they showed a couple more, and I was like, right, this is very kind of cheesy now and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was so disappointed that Bray Wyatt lost. It basically renders his whole title reign pointless because
Yeah.
he didn't defend it really, did he? Since he won it at Elimination Chamber, he's not been on SmackDown
No.
to
Did he
defend
have one?
He had Luke Harper, I think.
And he had the night after Elimination Chamber with the triple threat with Cena and AJ.
Yeah, but it's not really been built up that he had this title and that, and then Randy Orton. It's so weird for me because I think I said this before as well. Like, again, probably 8 years ago or whatever. Randy Orton, I loved. Like, he's my favourite wrestler, but I'm just so bored of him now. Like, they've given him the title. Where does it go from there? Like, I don't know. It's unless it's going to be a transitional title again. I don't know, but
it's open.
But you're disappointed as well.
Totally agree with what you said. I really enjoyed the predictions. I thought they were spooky.
Yeah.
Spooky dooky dooky. Yeah, it was just really sad because I put a tweet out, not like anyone saw it, but I put a tweet saying and I said it in the predictions. I think like Bray has been shat on for now. Well, not what is 4 WrestleManias. As I said, he got he lost all his momentum.
Do you think they're doing the anti-streak?
Yeah, he very well could be.
Do you know what I mean? That he just never wins at WrestleMania.
He just never wins at WrestleMania because, as I say, he lost to the Undertaker. Like, he's paid his dues. That's the thing, and it was a really sloppy match, I think, as well. It felt really short, and the RKO out of nowhere literally came out of nowhere to finish it.
Don't even start me on RKOs out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I hate them. Sorry, Karen.
Yeah, but well, they're much better than him lying on the canvas and banging, saying, "Okay, I'm going to RKO you now." But it just felt really flat, and I think this was the worst match on the card because I tried to take personal feelings out of this, like for how much we said we wanted Bray to win,
and have that moment.
I know he got it at the entrance, but yeah, it was just really sad because I think there was a lot of legs in Bray as champion, and there was a lot of opponents that would have been really cool to see him against. Hopefully he wins it back in this House of Horrors match that they've set up.
Yeah.
Which sounds...
Because they built up with Bray as well. Like, obviously Randy burnt down whatever. And then they built up this that Bray had taken on Sister Abigail and he's massively powerful. And then they built that up in the match as well with the projections and stuff. And then they just disregarded all that for a Randy Orton win. Like, you could have really built Bray Wyatt up as like this kind of entity that he's got a higher power or whatever.
It was just really sad, and it was a moment that I don't think should have happened, and just poor Bray.
Yeah, poor Bray. Should we take a moment for Bray?
Let's just pour one out for my homie.
And then we came on to Lesnar versus Goldberg. For me, I wasn't too interested in this match in general. The only intrigue I had was how long it was going to go. And I actually quite enjoyed the match, to be honest. It was quite a brutal match. They basically just done all their finishes. And I enjoyed it for that sense, but the other sense I didn't enjoy it was there was just no selling of any of their finishes. It was like he got speared like 3 times and just got up every time. So, do you know what I mean? But yeah, I think they played that match well. It was short enough and entertaining enough to warrant it being enjoyable. I think if it dragged on, people would have lost interest. What are your thoughts?
Exactly the same. I really, really enjoyed every aspect of it. I thought it was great where he hit him with the when Brock hit him with like 2 Germans and he got up and speared him. I thought that was brilliant. And for like the first minute of the match, it was really, really interesting because they both hit their finishes really early on. It was like, which way are they going to go with this? Because Brock started selling really, really well. I thought the spear was brutal through the barricade.
I liked that.
And then I thought it was kind of nice how Brock sort of claimed his crown by taking him to Suplex City. Yeah, it was
ten,
just a
10 suplexes, wasn't it?
10 suplexes,
yeah.
and then he was gone. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. Really short match. Glad it went longer than a minute. It was definitely a lot better than the WrestleMania 20 match.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the right person won. It was really weird to see Goldberg getting booed after, like, even though like 6 months ago he was the hottest thing in the company.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
yeah, really, really fun match.
And then we went to the women's SmackDown match. Now, I got to this point and I was like, are they actually going to have this match? Because it was bumped up from the pre-show, and then we were like at the penultimate match, and I thought they've bumped it, haven't they? I thought they're not going to do it in space for Pitbull and bloody Flow Rider and whatever. But then we had it, and I think this was pretty much telegraphed from last week's SmackDown that Naomi was going to win. But I enjoyed her. I really like her entrance. I think it's really cool. And then what was it? Mickey James coming out pretty much as Tatanka.
Yeah.
With her headdress and that.
You had Becky Lynch was adamant.
Yeah. I see. I love Becky Lynch, and I just looked at her and thought, "What the hell have you done?" Like,
yeah.
But yeah, as a match, I was quite looking forward to it, but it did nothing for me. I think at this point, though, obviously being in the UK as well, I think it was getting to about 4:30 in the morning, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I was beginning to just get a bit kind of lagged with it all.
Yeah.
That didn't really pique my interest up anymore, to be honest. What do you think?
No, I think it really suffered from its placement in the card. Really don't know why it was so high up. Do you think I genuinely think they might have forgot about it and they went,
shit, we need to put that in.
Oh shit, yeah. Yeah, let's just bang it on now. It was obvious Naomi was going to win. Yeah, it was just the placement was really odd because at that point everybody knew that it was Taker Roman at the main event and everyone was waiting for that. So it just seemed to sort of kill the momentum of the whole show, if I'm honest. I mean, the match was okay, but yeah, it was obvious Naomi was going to win.
Yeah,
it just should have been a lot lower down the card.
It's just a bit indifferent, wasn't it? Really, I think. Yeah. I think, on retrospect, I would have, although they would have been together, I would have swapped the SmackDown match with Kevin Owens and Jericho to make that feel a bit more prominent. Yeah. But then you would have had SmackDown and Raw together. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're probably in agreement. I don't think there's much more to say about it. It was what it was.
Yeah.
They built it up for weeks, like anyone available on the roster, but that was obviously just a shoe-in Naomi if she's fit.
That's what I mean. If there had been a couple of surprises, it may have been justified.
Yeah.
Why they put it on so late, but yeah, nothing. Yeah. Did nothing for me.
Then we went into the big one: Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker.
The Battle of the Yards.
Battle of the Yard. Whose yard is it anyway? I'm going to let you go first on this.
I have a lot to say.
Me too.
I have a lot of sadness built up inside me.
Yeah.
I thought it was an okay match. I'll do the match first.
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed the match. I'm not overly annoyed that Roman won. I think. I just think Roman winning was okay because what came after was obviously everyone realised why Roman had won.
Yeah.
I think leading up to it, the days before, I didn't think Taker was going to lose. I couldn't see a scenario where he didn't. And then the day of the show, I realised, like, shit, he's going to lose. Like, it was a realisation. But obviously the result isn't the story. And there was one thing I picked up on. I just want to talk about this really quickly. Like, obviously Reigns got slaughtered in that match. He was just booed and just got booed to the hilt. And then when the ref counted the 3, I just noticed that nobody reacted because everyone knew what had just happened, and it was like and like even Reigns, the way Reigns quickly got out of the ring, he knew as well that like it was Taker's moment.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, it fucking broke my heart.
Yeah.
That moment, it got me. It really, really got me when he tried to sit up and he
Yeah.
couldn't, and he fell back down. It really, I got a lump in my throat at that point. I mean, this is it. Like that's when everyone
Yeah.
knew it was. It was. It's really hard to talk about, and it sounds really stupid, but
No.
I've had this pent up inside me for like 4 or 5 days, and this is why I love talking to you because we can have non-cynical wrestling conversations.
Yeah.
So I apologize for all of this that's just going to splurge out, and I apologize to you watching as well. But I just want to talk about the Undertaker really quickly. It's just really sad. I just don't want it to be true, but
Yeah.
it kind of has to be. Um, like the Undertaker for me was the reason I always came back for wrestling. I've been a wrestling fan since I was like 6 years old. I don't really remember a lot from the Attitude Era because I was in like six.
Yeah.
The first WrestleMania I properly remember was 21, which was obviously Taker, Randy, like Kurt Angle, Shawn Michaels is the match I remember the most from that Mania. But that was when I really started remembering what was going on, and I started to gather how great wrestling was. Like I remember a few years before that, but that's when like my proper first vivid memory is around that time. And but like I don't know where I'm going with this, but I would dip out, I would dip in and out, but I'd always come back for Taker. I'd go away for 6 months or so, and it was always Taker. It'd be like the Undertaker's coming back. Okay, I've got to watch this. And I've been watching religiously now. Like I haven't since like 2010. Like I haven't missed a year. I've not decided not to watch it for a while. And just seeing him over these 5 or 6 years, it's been coming. I have no qualms about him retiring. I'm happy for him. He needs to go and get his fucking hip surgery because I don't want to see him in pain. But it's just really, really sad, and it's really sad as a wrestling fan. I'm sure you're going to back me up on this in a sec, but for me, it was always like when I would talk about the Undertaker to my friends, or I would talk about wrestling, he was the guy they knew. He was the guy that would be like, "Oh, does the Undertaker still wrestle? Is the Undertaker still in there?" And I could have non-cynical wrestling conversations because he was the character, and he was the reason a lot of people got into wrestling. A lot of people got it and had that sentimentality about wrestling because everyone remembers an Undertaker match. And it's just sad because that's gone. Because this week a lot of people are probably talking about the Undertaker and thinking about the Undertaker, and I'm like, oh man, I'm probably thinking I wish I'd have stuck around and watched a little bit longer to see the Undertaker at his best. But I don't really know where I was going with that. It's proper big waffle.
No.
It's just really, really sad to say because he was my fave. He was my favourite from when I was a kid.
He's left a void, basically, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Like, he's been, like I said the other day, I'm 33 years old, and for 27 years of that, he has been a constant within something that I really enjoy watching. The match itself, again, I wasn't that worried that Reigns won. I think we said this in predictions. Like now that the streak had gone, I think it's not as big a thing for me. It's a big thing for a lot of people that don't like Roman Reigns and love the Undertaker. But I think the match was decent. The sad point of it for me is looking at the Undertaker. He shouldn't have been in that ring. Like he's basically broken, isn't he? Like I was surprised he took that bump through the announce table, or was it? Or did he give it? I can't remember. But
he took the spear. He took the spear through.
It felt quite slow and laboured. But I quite liked the ending of. I don't think it was played perfectly, but I quite like the ending of Roman having to keep spearing him to keep him down, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think they could have played on that a bit more. But then it probably would have led more into a Roman Reigns heel turn, which they obviously don't want, because that was the perfect time to do it.
There was a really great little bit of symbolism, which it made me sad but happy at the same time. It was like after the third spear, and the Undertaker tried to crawl up, and he tried to pull himself up on Reigns, and it was exactly the same scenario where just before Michaels retired, and like Undertaker obviously told Michaels to stay down, and that's what Reigns said to him, and it was like, oh, it's really like this, like, it's really real at this point, that it's happening. But yeah, I say it was just really sad to see him broken, and I'm glad if he's done. If he's done, I'm not going to sit here and bitch and moan. The fucking man deserves it. Like, he's put his fucking body on the line for.
Yeah, definitely.
For
I think the moment for me in the match, before all what happened after the match, the moment in the match where I thought Taker is done, like he is broken, is when a lot of people will see this as it was a Roman botch, but when Roman tried to pick him up to do that tombstone, anyone, like, obviously you know as well, like, because I've worked with wrestlers and stuff, that kind of move is determined by Taker pushing his body up, and he just couldn't do it. He just couldn't do it, so it botched really badly. But Roman Reigns, it's weird. Like, a lot of people hate him, and I've never been either way on him. But strangely, over the last week or so, especially with Raw on Monday, which I'm sure we'll talk about, I've really started to kind of take to him and quite like him, which is a weird thing. I didn't think that would happen. But yeah, after the match, like you, it was just, it still really hasn't sunk in, to be honest. Like, I was watching it there at the time, and it was like, oh shit, he's retiring or whatever. But it didn't properly sink in, I don't think. But for me, The Undertaker, if anyone's into wrestling, The Undertaker is the embodiment of wrestling. Like, everything people love about wrestling, the over-the-top storylines, he's had them. Like, the great costumes, he's had them. The great matches, he's had them.
So, just to jump in really quickly on the same line, the man, his gimmick is he's an undead zombie, and we're in 2017, and people still believe that he's an undead, like, zombie. It's just mental. Like, people still buy into that, but they won't get into two guys that are trying to sell you a timeshare in Puerto Rico. It's like that. Like, that is the greatness of the Undertaker. That.
But I suppose that's because it's been ingrained in people.
Obviously, but it's like it's just still mental.
It is. But that's like what I was trying to say. Is that's the embodiment of wrestling, isn't it? Like he is the culmination of what people want to see in wrestling. And it's strange it's over. It feels like there's a massive void, even though he's only in the last few years kind of been around WrestleMania and stuff and that. It just feels like there's going to be a massive void, and I think we spoke about this in the predictions. I really don't know who's going to fill that role, and it's quite nice. I don't know if you saw on Twitter, he came out, he posted a tweet on Twitter, Mark Calloway, and he was basically insinuating that the Undertaker is dead, like no one's going to take up that mantle, they're not going to do another Undertaker, which I thought was quite cool. And what I love about Undertaker as well is he's a proper wrestling person, in the sense he's never broke character. Do you know what I mean? Apart from Michelle McCool at the end, where he went over a kiss and that, but like in everything he's always kept that kind of character, and I think that's important with wrestlers. And just as a little side note, I don't know if you watch Brandon Hodge on YouTube.
No.
So like he's a wrestling fan, and he was travelling to WrestleMania, and he'd done like a vlog. I know this is going offside, but it kind of links to The Undertaker. He was doing a vlog, and Neville was at the airport. And he saw him across the departure lounge, and he said in his vlog, he said, Neville's over there, but I don't have to go and say hello to him. He looks quite moody or whatever. And then there's a bit in the vlog where he's walking behind Neville, and he says, "Oh, Neville, can I just get a photo?" And Neville's just like, "No." Like proper cuts him off and basically won't. But Brandon said, like, that was really good because he's obviously keeping character like when he's out and about as well, and that's what what was good about the Undertaker. It was always kept within that character. There wasn't the Undertaker and Mark Calloway. It was like
he was the Undertaker.
Yeah, but yeah, Roman Reigns with that win, I can fully see after WrestleMania. Now that we've got two people, we've got Brock Lesnar who's got the championship, who's beaten the Undertaker.
Yeah.
And then Roman Reigns, who's beaten the Undertaker, but essentially retired.
Yeah.
They're going to bring that together, and I think that was insinuated a bit on Raw as well.
Obviously, because Paul Heyman said it's the 23, it's the 2 in 23 and 2 now. So,
which I'm quite excited by.
Yeah, obviously there's all these rumours that is going to be the main event next year is Brock. So if they're going to build that for a year, then I'm fully behind it because. Yeah. Again, it's WWE doing long-term storytelling.
Yeah. But saying that long-term storytelling, I get the impression that the Undertaker retiring was a recent development.
Yeah.
Because it felt rushed between him and Roman Reigns. The story, like if they knew he was going to be retiring, say a year ago, if he came out after WrestleMania 32 and said, "Guys, next year is going to be my last one," then they could have spent a whole year building up something. And a bit of fantasy booking, which I quite would have liked, would be for Kane to retire the Undertaker and then have one final thing at WrestleMania. Because if you think about the feuds they've had in the past and stuff, and the storylines, and they're essentially brothers within that world, I think it would be the perfect sending off for Taker. But that was.
I wouldn't have liked Kane. I would have liked him to have. I would have liked him to have a moment, maybe at the Royal Rumble or something. But I think it should have been a younger guy. So
are you happy as Reigns?
I don't know. We'll see how they go with that in WWE. But I just want to, again, really sidetracking on this, but there was a little glimmer of him retiring. The video package beforehand, and they showed really old Undertaker clips at WrestleMania. And I thought, like, this just seems a bit odd now. Yeah. Like, why are they doing this? And obviously it was because they all knew. I say we spoke about it as well. As you said, it felt quite rushed. Obviously, he was at the WrestleMania 34 conference, and because we are the dirty smarks of the world, we thought, he's going to go in New Orleans. It's where he lost the streak. It makes sense for him to lose there, and he retires in the same building, lost the streak. But as I said, if he wanted to go, who's really going to be annoyed? Like, everyone's going to be upset, but nobody's going to be angry that he's gone because, as I say, he thoroughly deserves it. And sorry, I know anyone that's watching this, you probably turned off because we're waffling so much, but I just have one more little point. Again, it was just really, really sweet when he took off his coat and jacket, and it was... I get a little bit lumper when I think about it. It was when he tried to... when he went to take his hat off, and he took that little breath, and you could see he was really fighting the tears.
And definitely.
He took the hat off. And at that moment, I think that was when The Undertaker was gone. And everything from that moment, it was just Mark Calloway soaking it all in, giving his wife a kiss, and then he was gone. And it was just genuinely one of the... Minus finding out that Eddie Guerrero died, I think it's the saddest day I've ever had in wrestling.
I genuinely, it's still not kind of sunk in for me fully. No. I don't think. I think his presence has not been missed, and I can't imagine that he's going to be one of those people that keeps cropping up. And I think now that he's done. Like, that's it. And you saying about that kind of taking his hat off and taking in that moment. I think whatever we feel about it as viewers, and he's been in our life, think of that moment for him, like that's all he's known. That's been his only job for 27 years. It's absolutely crazy. So just quickly then to summarise, kind of your overall thoughts of WrestleMania 33, the ultimate thrill ride.
I think it lived up to the ultimate thrill ride hype. I thought just only because I forgot to mention earlier, I think the set is probably one of the best WrestleMania sets ever. I bloody loved it. I thought it was brilliant.
Not only the length of that ramp, but the incline as well was pretty steep. Like, I know it's a really random thing, but it's something I just noticed watching it.
It was to help Triple H on his trike, because it was all just in case it cut out, so he could carry on rolling.
Yeah, definitely.
I thought as a WrestleMania of a whole, I thought it was really, really unique. I think it had something for everyone. I think it had the right amount of surprises. I think all of the results kind of went the right way to keep the fans happy. I think the Undertaker ending, I think the Undertaker retiring. I think the Undertaker. I just got completely lost in my thoughts. Then let me start again. I really enjoyed it. I thought there was something for everyone. There was the right amount of surprises. There was the results kind of went the right way to keep the fans happy. It was just really, I think it was really enjoyable. But it did have its bad points. But I think it's probably one of the best WrestleManias in the past 10 years, maybe, possibly.
Okay.
Yeah, I think one of the best WrestleManias in 10 years as an overall show. I think there was enough greatness in there to put it up there. And just that ending and the ending as well. As sad as it was, it made the show and it elevated the show to another level. So how do you feel about
Right, the best way I can describe this is I've watched a lot of footage on YouTube of people that went to the event, that were in the crowd, and they were saying that it's one of the best WrestleManias there's ever been. It was incredible. And then I've seen vlogs from people that didn't go to the event, and they've said it was really poor. Now, I think that's the best way to describe it. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm still bloody processing it 5 days after. I think there was some amazing moments. The Hardy Boys, I'm getting goosebumps now just talking about it. That moment, just amazing. The Undertaker at the end, just as a moment. I know they talk about WrestleMania moments, but as a moment, that's going to be replayed over and over again. The Hardy Boys is going to be replayed over and over again. They're going to force John Cena's proposal on us over and over again, which is supposed to be a WrestleMania moment, but for me didn't work.
It's a total Bella's moment.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's some nice surprises, like we said, with Mojo Rawley. I think surprises can work either way if they pique your interest, and I think that worked with Mojo Rawley, and I thought it worked. There's some decent matches in there. I don't think there was any match particularly that oh my god, this is the greatest match ever. There's a quick example, NXT the night before, the tag team match in that, I was literally sat there this is amazing, this match.
I'd say...
Sorry, Karen.
No, just you told me, briefly on NXT, you were oh, it was so good. And I started watching it, I was oh, it's alright. And then there was that 5-minute sequence, and I just remember I was sat there, and I was just the biggest grin on my face ever. It was just so great, that title match. I think my favourite bit was where Dawson Dash. He had him in the submission. He had him in the knee bar, and then Gargano jumped on top on top. Yeah, that was
that moment good. Stuck with me. And then the moment I thought was so good was there was all that melee. Everything was going on and then the kind of dust settled in the ring. I think the Authors of Pain were outside the ring, and it was just the Revival and DIY.
Yeah.
And they were just stood there opposite each other, and it was just looking at each other, and then they just went for it. And I just thought that was amazing. But going back to WrestleMania, I don't think there's any of those kind of massive moments within WrestleMania. So for me, I'm kind of in the middle. There's bits that I thought, watching it, there's bits that I thought, especially up to the Hardy Boys, I thought the first half of the card, I thought this is going to be an amazing WrestleMania. Then it felt like it just dropped off a bit with things like Randy Orton winning and John Cena and Nikki Bella, and then the SmackDown Women's Championship. But I think as a percentage overall, with 100 being amazing and 0 being crap. I think I'm leaning towards probably 60-70%
Yeah.
goodness. I don't think any event's going to be perfect.